Alrighty. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Just jumping on for a bit because we got to cover this. We got to talk about it. All right. Apparently, some other nut job showed up to a rally with guns. And he seemed, I don't know, I literally just heard about this now, so I haven't had too much time to really look at anything. There is a press conference. Sorry, the mess behind me. I'm working on some stuff, but um, we're gonna watch this press conference. We're gonna find out what's going on. There's pictures of the guy now. His name is Vem Miller. Vem Miller, and he was arrested outside of Trump's Southern California rally with multiple guns, fake press passes. Wow. A man outside was arrested of the campaign rally for former President Donald Trump in Southern California, and multiple guns were illegally in his possession. Illegally. The arrest took place at a checkpoint at the intersection of Avenue 52 and Celebration Drive in Coachella at 4:59 p.m. on Saturday. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office said the rally was scheduled to start at 5 p.m. The driver of a black SUV, who was later identified as Vem Miller, 49 years old, Las Vegas, where he's from, was found to have been illegal possession of a shotgun, a loaded handgun, and a high-capacity magazine. Miller was taken into custody and booked at the John J. Bennett Detention Center on suspicion of possession of a loaded firearm and possession of high-capacity magazine. He was released on bail. Wow. On Sunday, today, $5,000. Mamma mia. All right, let's take a look at this press conference. Let's see what's going on, and we'll dig a little bit deeper. We got to check his social media, too, because they usually scrub social media pretty quick.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming here today. I am Chad Bianco. I'm the Sheriff of Riverside County, and we are obviously here to talk about an incident that occurred yesterday at the rally that former President Trump had in Coachella. There has been a lot of media stir beginning last night with social media and further on today about the arrest, and so I am here to give you as much information as I can. I will answer all of the questions that you have. Keep in mind that the information that I'm going to give you may not be all of the information that I have, but because of what we're doing and because of the investigation that will obviously continue concerning this, there are some things that I cannot give you or that I will not give you, but I will do everything I can to answer your questions. So to begin with, yesterday afternoon, before former President Trump arrived to the rally, we made contact with an individual on the inner perimeter of our operation at the rally. As you can imagine, this was a very large event. In regard to previous attempts on the former president's life, this was not something that we were taking lightly. We had a very detailed plan in place on how we were going to keep not only the former president safe, but all of the participants or the attendees of the rally safe. So in general terms, I will tell you that we had a larger outside perimeter and then an inside perimeter that was completely controlled by us, by Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, and both of them served different purposes. We did not keep residents from their homes. We did not keep people that were traveling through the area from going through if they had a legitimate reason to go through. So the outside perimeter was basically to allow people in that we thought belonged there. The inside perimeter was to make sure and to make sure people were proceeding in the right direction. The way it worked yesterday is only people that were allowed inside the perimeter, the outside perimeter in a vehicle, was if you lived there or if you had documentation that said you were going to this rally in the form of an email with VIP credentials or press credentials. Those vehicles were allowed in. There were no other vehicles allowed. So that outside perimeter I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later, but we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birth date is 10/20 26 of 1974. And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and to and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in, there were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed that the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had an obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from our deputy into why the person was there, and what he was doing during that.
And the weird thing about this too, we're gonna get a little bit more into it after this presser that just happened now. I think it's still going on, but I started from the beginning. There's a bunch of pictures with this guy that was armed to the T. You see him with all these right-leaning people politically. I think Vivek was in one of the pictures. He posted a picture with him, posted a picture with a couple other people. We'll take a look at the pictures in a minute, but it's weird. I don't know what happened.
Investigation. The deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered, and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens.
Oh my God, I can't with these people. It's all, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen, I might get a little bit pushback on this, maybe get upset. I don't think I've ever seen a sane sovereign citizen. It's always some crazy shit with these sovereign citizen people, yo. It's like I don't think I've ever seen a normal, like, sovereign citizen that's not trying to stir up shit, cause problems, fuck it, like law enforcement, fuck with society, and nothing applies to them. The rules don't apply to them. I've never seen it. I want to see a normal sovereign citizen. What the hell? And
assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that.
Tired of these people, man.
Group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found, in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun.
Wow.
Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case in the future. Right now,
if he shows up,
now we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI.
I can't believe he was allowed to like bail out for $5,000. Like that was it.
To ensure that this person is followed up on, and all of the information that they can gather. I can tell you that from my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency's perspective, the firearms charges is what we arrested him for and booked him on. Anything further will come from the federal government, and quite frankly, I don't know if we will be a part of that. We will certainly be a part of that investigation and cooperating with them, but those charges, if any, will come from them. They will not come from us. With that being said, is there any questions? Yes, sir. I will not comment on what he said, or specifics that we learned or gained from our contact with him. Quite frankly, I'm not really concerned with the statement that he gave the media after he was released from custody.
Well, he gave a statement? We gotta look that up.
Because it's irrelevant to me. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there were a minimum of 25,000 people that entered past those deputies into that location that had legitimate identification and weren't carrying guns. So I will just go from there. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've been quoted as saying we probably stopped another assassination attempt in the press enterprise, and then obviously you just gave us all of that information. I'm just curious how, what about what happened led you to that conclusion and that statement, given what you just explained about what you saw in the car and everything?
Yeah, so basically, I honestly, I will be honest with you, I don't remember saying that, but it certainly would be something I did say because it's something that in the last 12 hours we've talked about extensively of what happened. Thank God, and by an act of really what we did in the week leading up to keeping that place secure, I certainly wouldn't want to be saying after the fact that I wish we would have done something to prevent that shooting. And there is absolutely no way that any of us are going to truly know what was in his head. I can tell you that none of the other probably 50,000 people that showed up yesterday for that event brought multiple passports with different names and guns. And if there is any further statement about whether or not he belonged there, the statement of him saying that he was given credentials to be there by someone else, that's not up to me to decide. I mean, we didn't arrest him for going inside the facility. We arrested him for having guns, illegal guns in his car. What his frame of mind was, all we can do is speculate, unless we truly just want to believe anything that he tells us.
I guess it's just, given everything that's happened leading up to in this presidential campaign so far, it's just quite a dramatic statement to make, given what we've seen so far.
A dramatic statement for me to make?
Well, just, yes. I guess there wasn't any,
So this is what I'm glad of. This is what I am very glad of. I know that the presence that we had at the rally with deputies, with snipers, with counter snipers, and Secret Service snipers and counter.
And apparently there's a video. This was the guy at the rally. Let's pause for a second. Let's check this out. And like I said, the weird thing is, people are digging. You can see him taking pictures with a lot of people that are on the right politically. Look, Vivek, all this stuff. So I wonder if this is somebody like the last guy, because I thought the last guy was like, Trump, you let me down and blah, blah, blah. Like, I voted for you or something the first time. He was like really disgruntled. I don't even know what happened to that guy. They scrubbed his ass after the other guy. The one that pulled up, put a gun through, when he was golfing, put a gun through the little fence or whatever. But yeah, look at these pictures. What the? Hold on, let's take a look at this video too. Hi guys, I'm here at the rally.
Republican National Convention is so one thing I don't get is that everything at this convention, at the Republican National Convention, is cashless. This whole place is cashless. So I don't know. See, that's the Republican National Convention behind me. Wonderful people, wonderful time. Just not happy that it's all cashless.
Oh shit! Look how close.
Thank you guys.
Oh. Now I don't know if this video is at the last rally he got arrested at, or was this a different rally? Wow. Look at that. Damn. So weird. I don't know what's going on, man. Who knows what's real, what's not anymore? RNC. 2024, all the RNC, okay. Wow.
Counter snipers. I am glad that we're not talking about this after we shot him. We get to talk about it before, and no matter what, it's all going to be speculation about what his intentions were getting there. What we do know is he showed up with multiple passports with different names, an unregistered vehicle with fake license plate, and loaded firearms.
Damn.
If you're asking me right now, I probably did have deputies that prevented the third assassination attempt.
Whew.
If we are that politically lost, that we have lost sight of common sense and reality and reason, that we can't say that, holy crap, what did he show up with all of that stuff for and loaded guns, and I'm going to be accused of being dramatic. We have a serious problem in this country, because
I mean, the chat said it was capping.
this is common sense and reason. I saw some of you there yesterday. You didn't have guns and fake IDs. I don't know how else to explain it.
Sharon, you were talking about the two perimeters and how, the one checkpoint and the inner one. I'm just curious, did he have the proper credentials to get past those? Did that check out? It was in the car that was the red flag, but the credentials perhaps checked out with the deputies to get that access.
So if you went there, the credentials are come out at the very last minute, and they are very, very vague. So there's actually 3 different points of contact and entry. We had an outer perimeter, an inner perimeter, and then you still have to go through Secret Service metal detectors and final big screening to actually get inside the facility. And that is where they would verify whether those were real. And to be honest with you, that thing that you have on your phone, it's all whether or not they have you on a list. It's not just showing up with a piece of paper and saying, I'm in. It's whether or not you really did apply through that website to get in. Secret Service does an extremely good job of trying to pre-vet people that are trying to get those tickets to get inside the...
And I'm sure this is probably part of the investigation, but did he say why he had all these passports to the deputies what all this was?
No. And then one thing about I will confirm, just because it was said of what him saying that someone else gave him a pass. Well, you don't get to give away passes to go to a rally of a former president or even the vice president going to her rallies. We don't get to share those things. I can't share it with my spouse, let alone with friends. So all of those things are red flags for us going in. None of those things made sense. So it wasn't that we could verify individual documents that we had, because there really isn't those things. And that would have been done at the final checkpoint going through that is completely run by Secret Service.
Sheriff, can you confirm that this suspect here, and you all are currently investigating and looking into his past, is a member of the Republican Party and previously ran for state assembly in Nevada?
Yeah, man, that sounds like under the water.
Have you heard from the Trump campaign, Secret Service, in response to the actions that your deputies took?
I'll take the last one first. It was we certainly are still in contact with Secret Service and the FBI, because this is obviously something that occurred that we'll be continuing to go till we get to the bottom of it, until there's a resolution to the entire thing. The second thing and the second and third thing, I knew this was going to happen. I couldn't care less what political party he belongs to. I honestly, I think that's the stupidest thing in the world, that we have to label something and we're labeling this as politics. He was a lunatic. He was, and from my perspective in law enforcement, it's that group. If in fact it turns out that he is part of the sovereign citizens group, they are certainly considered a far right group. I wouldn't, in my own personal belief, I wouldn't say it's a militant group. It's just a group that doesn't believe in government and government control. They don't believe that the government and laws apply to them. So I think it's fringe one way or the other. I couldn't care less. It's people trying to do harm, and thank God we prevented it.
Can I ask one other just clarifying question?
Yes.
The cars. Was every single car that was entering the space, and I brought it up in there, so I wasn't sure about the setup, but was every single car checked? This was the only car that drew attention yesterday. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm sure there were multiple cars that drew attention, but and every single vehicle that made it into the actual event, Every single vehicle was checked. He did not make it into the event. He made it to our interior perimeter that was maybe 100, 200 yards away from the actual interior perimeter. So he didn't get to the point where Secret Service would find him. We identified him, detained him, and eventually arrested him before he got to the actual event entrance.
And that was about 100 to 200 yards before the entrance.
Please don't quote me on that, but yes. I mean, I think it's roughly, as I'm trying to imagine the entrance and where he was, I think it's about a quarter of a mile, 250 yards, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
President Trump mentioned you and your family there during the rally. How close were you sitting to him, and who other, you don't have to name them by name, but did you have other family members with you?
I did have my family members there, and we were lucky enough and gracious enough to have VIP seating, so we were relatively close.
About how far would you think?
How far away was I from him?
Right.
40 yards.
Just thinking back to what might have happened, do you feel concerned for your safety or your family's safety now?
I will tell you, as the sheriff of Riverside County, and knowing what we know going into this event, that there had been 2 attempts on our former president's life, and the amount of people that were going to be coming to this in such a short notice, what my team was able to do and what we did for the goers to this event, for the attendees, I was completely confident that there was absolutely nothing going to happen inside that facility, and I am inside that venue, and I am extremely proud of what the deputies did and the buy-in, the personal buy-in that they took upon themselves to ensure the safety of our former president and the attendees of that rally. I was not concerned for myself at any point.
Even after the fact, knowing that this guy was there?
It was our intent to make sure that there was an outside perimeter and an inside perimeter, that no one that did not belong there, that intended to do him harm or anyone else harm, would be allowed inside that event. And we did exactly what we had hoped for. And in hindsight, looking back, the planning that my team did and the actions of my deputies into this is exactly what we had hoped for. And we know that we prevented something bad from happening, and it's irrelevant what that bad was going to be.
Were there any adjustments to security after the discovery was
2 years ago, elect Van Miller for Nevada Assembly District.
And I'm running for Assembly District 13. Half a decade ago,
What
never
the-
in my wildest imagination would I have thought that I'd find myself in this position, compelled to run for office. But what I've seen in the last 5 to 6 years truly has scared the hell out of me. There are politicians out there right now saying that we must preserve our freedoms. And to those politicians I ask, what freedom are you talking about? Our small businesses have been shattered. Our freedom of speech has been taken from us on all the social media networks. Many people, for expressing the wrong opinion that is not the mainstream media's opinion, are attacked. They are canceled. Our children, the right to raise our children, and the dominion we have over our children has been seized from us by corrupted school boards. Parents that care about their children's curriculum are considered domestic terrorists. And even our Second Amendment rights, our right to bear arms, is under threat today. For those of us that know what's going on in family court, we have the outright theft of children with no due process taken from their parents. All these national issues are reflected in what's happening in Nevada. We are 49th in education. How are we supposed to raise a strong new generation when we are 49th in education? We have the second highest unemployment rate, while foolish policies destroy our small businesses. For those
Same dude.
politicians talking about preserving our freedoms, I have to tell you, you do not understand what's happening on Main Street. Tyranny is on our shores, and this same tyranny is the tyranny that my parents and my grandparents ran away from to come to this great country. But political political
2022.org.
interests have started and have successfully robbed us of these freedoms. I believe that we are in dire times. I believe that there is a fierce urgency today, a fierce urgency to make a U-turn from where we are right now, to reclaim our freedoms under the Constitution, to reclaim what is our God-given rights. And I believe that right now is not the time for old school politicians to be in office playing softball. I believe right now is the time to play hardball, because right now, our freedom has already been seized from us. This is the most important election of our lifetimes, because if we don't turn this ship around now, we are heading down the shores of tyranny. And what is a perfect example of that is what's happening in Canada. Notice how so many in our political class have been silent about what's happening in Canada. Why are they so silent? Why are they not condemning the tyranny and the dictatorship that's happening in Canada? Ask that. When you realize the answer to that, know that you need a fighter, a bare knuckle brawler. Vote for
All right.
Van Miller, Assembly District 13. I will.
Wow, vote for Van Miller. Interesting. He also has a LinkedIn. Van Miller. His history is kind of interesting. Van Miller, he, him. And I noticed he has the pronouns. I don't know if they force you to do that, but because it looks like he's right leaning, but normally right people aren't using pronouns. I just thought it was a little weird pronouns there, but so it says, for 20 years, I've been working in the media as an investigative journalist, documentary filmmaker, and a content producer. Through this experience, I have learned a lot about politics and how the world of politics is run, often to the detriment of we the people. I have seen our rights be taken while the power of big government grows. I have seen small businesses and the middle class be squashed. I have seen unlawful mandates and politicians acting like dictators. I have also seen how the power of the money flows through politics and the political class that no longer works for we, the people. The vision of the founders of our politicians to be public servants and not an elite class that feeds on the middle class and the most and more vulnerable. These experiences have led me to run for political office to help restore our constitutional rights, including 2A, revitalize small business, which was so grossly harmed by COVID mandates, reform family law, a sector of our judicial branch that is in gross violation of the Amendment 14, give back power to the parents who have had their voices ignored by authoritarian school boards, and stop voter fraud, including introducing voter ID and cleaning up our voter, polls or rolls. Through my 20 plus years in media, I have interviewed dozens of members of Congress, worked with lobbying groups, lawyers, and politicians. My experience and knowledge of inner workings of government are vast. I know the integral components of why our government no longer works for the people and what has to be changed in order to restore not the candidate that the elite wants in office, because I am dedicated for working for we the people. So, three months ago, banned and censored America Happens is uncensored media. Oh, those are his posts. Experience the current one, partner the America Happens Network full-time. Rage against the mainstream media. Oh, it's Rumble. I will check that out in a bit. So he has like some Rumble thing page. I'll have to check that out. Then political candidate, VEM 2022, 3 years ago. Director, VemMiller.com, VEM2022.org, self-employed. Then he was, it says EP director, showrunner, creator. Creating, directing, executive producing, casting, writing, editing, financing, showrunning, playing psychologist, and producer, all under one roof. So he claims he's been with Netflix, the History Channel, Discovery, A&E, MTV, then showrunner for Vice Media, 2016. Showrunner, commercial, and music video director. And check out one of these videos. Claims he was on, I guess, produced the DMX song. Oh, it was there. What happened to it? DMX, Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at? Okay. Weird stuff. I don't know what's going on. All right, let's see.
No, I will tell you that when I was told that we had made an arrest and the brief particulars of what the arrest was.
Vem is actually listed as a director for that song "Where's the Hood At" for the music video. Whoa, this is odd.
What it involved, I really, my first thought was, we did everything right. It worked. I was told where it was. I knew it was an outside perimeter, and I was not concerned at all. I was not concerned for anyone else's safety. I knew that the precautions that we put in, the measures that we put in, did exactly what they were supposed to do. The other part of your question, the aftermath, the people leaving, I cannot tell you. I've been told way too many times today and in the middle of the night that it didn't go very smoothly. There was a lot of people trying to leave at the same time, and logistically, it wasn't conducive to going smoothly. And as far as we know, there were no injuries, there were no incidents, there was no neighbors called to complain or anything like that. And as far as I know, everyone made it home safely. So two different questions there, or parts to it, but we did not do anything different. I will say, I take that back. We did. There were a lot of people that have complained or that have said or wondered why there are deputies in riot gear. We had deputies that were off-site that were ready for something, to respond to something should something happen, and they were never intended to come inside the facility unless that happened. Afterward, when everything was over and it was obvious there were problems with people leaving, with people trying to get over fences and those types of issues, we did bring those deputies in just as extra help in funneling people out. There was never any, the only odd part about that was they were prepared all day in their riot gear, if you want to call it that, and that's how they showed up. We got them there as quick as they could. There was never any, we certainly didn't treat it like a riot situation. It wasn't. Everyone was very orderly in their efforts to leave, and we just ensured that no one got hurt or everyone stayed out of the street, stay on the sides, and everything was orderly. But other than that, everything was fine, and as we went throughout the day yesterday, we didn't change anything.
So he's very, I'm looking at his, I got his Instagram now. He's very, very, looks like right leaning. I mean, like you see his post, woke, awake, fish tank, fished in the bowl, fish bowl, the other fishes in the sea. Never go full.
There you go. Look, we got one right there. And then look at these guys over here. So, look at this gentleman over here. So, just like yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, Mr. Gavin Shithead Newsom said that the mask mandates are on. And fortunately, you know, there's a lot of smart people in California that aren't believing this shit. But there's also a number of fucking idiots out there that are literally drones.
I don't know if this really him. It kind of looks like him. I don't know if that's
this
him.
Smarmy campaign manager fucking asshole. They'll just put on their masks because they were told to do so.
Sound like it though. I can't lie. It does sound like
I
it.
don't know. Just feel sad for these people. Look at all these beautiful.
And his profile thing does say filmmaker, vision guy, DJ, journalist, AmericaHappens.com. That's where I think there's a LinkedIn says it's AmericaHappens.com. So he has like a podcast or something. That's what it was saying.
Beautiful people without their masks on. Right? Look at that. Isn't that nice?
He has an upcoming stream. What?
And then look at this guy right here. Look at this guy right here. Look at that. Look at that genius right there.
There's a stream. Well, America Happens. I don't know if he runs that page. I don't know if he's just like a extra person on there. They have something starting at 8 p.m. tonight. Go outside.
They're crazy fucks.
So weird, yo.
Those drones. We're the land of the free and the home of the brave. Alright, so look at these California.
Okay. Estrogen generation. Armada generation is being bombarded with estrogen. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Why this happened? It looks like you shared or sent something that shows nudity or sexual activity. Yeah, that's... Oh, God. That's the... Okay, that's why he got... Okay. Or whatever that is. Woman voting for Kamala. This was 4 days ago he posted this. Okay. Hates Donald Trump. Let's give him a ride. No, I dislike the man. Besides, we have no room. And then Trump in the car. Who was that? My ex-wife. Some people were saying maybe he just had guns on him. He came to this event with guns, but he wasn't actually planning to do something. This is bizarre. But why with all those passports? That don't make sense to me. Why are you coming to this thing with all those passports? You got all those guns, and you know it's like heavily secure. I mean, why bring that to the event? Look at this guy with everybody, even this one. What the? The sheriff said that he felt like it could be an attempt. They prevented an attempt, assassination attempt. Russell Brand, right? What's the guy's name? Something don't seem right. I don't know what's up with this. Something's off.
There were 2 guns and multiple boxes of ammunition for both. There was a handgun and a shotgun. And he was cited for the gun. They were unregistered firearms. So he was cited for the unregistered loaded firearms in a vehicle. And he was, those are state crimes. And he was released on those crimes. He was booked into jail and released with a promise to appear at a future date in court. And
I mean, what other intentions do you have, right? So this guy, they're saying he had fake credentials, fake VIP pass and press credentials, was carrying a loaded shotgun, handgun, and a high-capacity magazine. What other reason are you trying to bring all that stuff with you into an event at a Trump rally, right?
And I'm sorry, I don't know what that date
And
is.
sneak in a lot
I'm
of stuff.
sure on our Jim's information, it will show when his next court date is.
You said he showed a fake press pass that you found to be fake right there. What affiliation did that press pass have, and how did you know it was fake?
Semantically, I can't comment on whether or not there is an actual physical fake pass. He claimed to be a journalist, and he claimed to have VIP status at the event that got him into the perimeter. And then when that investigation was continued by the deputy,
Maybe in his head, he was thinking, if something happens to Trump, I want to be able to protect Trump. Maybe I brought all those guns in there. Apparently, he did some type of interview with a Southern California news group. And it said Miller said he was shocked that he was arrested. Why would you be shocked? Like, what's wrong with these people? Why are you shocked? And accused of trying to harm Trump, who he supports. Miller said he received a special invitation to the Coachella Valley rally from the head of Clark County's Republican Party. These accusations are complete BS. I'm an artist. I'm the last person that would cause any violence or harm to anybody. He said he bought the firearms as protection after he started receiving death threats. He also denied presenting a press pass at the checkpoint and said he only had a special entry pass. And so he was released on $5,000 bail. He's scheduled to appear in the Indio Larson Justice Center on January 2nd, 2025. There's no urgency on this. All right, I'll catch you next year.
Deputy, that didn't necessarily materialize. So other than his words of saying he was a journalist and that he was there as a media, I can't tell you that that he gave us a document that said I'm the media and we said that was fake.
Were you able to verify that Instagram account that I mentioned to you that's his?
As of yet, I have not. I know they're working on it, and someone may have tried to tell me, but I didn't bring my phone, and that's how they would have notified me. I know we're actively trying to track that down, as well as Secret Service and the FBI, but
And so who's investigating now?
our investigation is relatively done. The continuation will be a cooperation between us, the Secret Service, and the FBI. More than likely, federal charges like that would be headed by the FBI. I can't say that for sure, but it's a combination of all three. And I will say the working relationship and the effort that we all, the
I'm
federal
a former
agencies
Marine and
and
Airman.
the Sheriff's Office,
Mustang, green to gold. I can tell you, this smells weird. Multiple passports?
Yeah.
Several guns? That's a spy or crazy person. One way or
Weird.
the other, that's a threat.
Thank you so much for the 10 and for your service. Yeah, it's like really, really weird. And I'm looking at something now on Facebook. This lady posted, and she's like, I'm very confused about the guy who they say wanted to kill President Trump yesterday at the rally. I looked up Van Miller up. We have mutual friends. He seems like he's very pro-Trump. What in the world? Somebody said maybe he's an infiltrator. He's just trying to push that he's far right. My guess, this guy is a liberal, and just like January 6th and some others, this is an attempt to take heat off liberal. I don't know. I was trying to find his Facebook profile, but I couldn't. Is this him? This is weird, man. Look at him with Vivek, too. Wow.
Office put into this going in was seamless. The communication is great. I have no complaints, and it's certainly, by me telling you it's someone else's investigation, that's just the nature of a federal crime. If they are ever able to prove that it was assassination attempt, and I'm not saying they're going to be able to, but anything like that would be federal. The state crimes are the weapons charges that we arrested him for.
Someone posted on social media that both you and he were apparently coincidentally at a premiere of a movie, Line in the Sand, some title like that. You don't know this guy, do you? You've never met him.
No, I do not. I have absolutely no idea.
When you originally stated his name, you said it was an asterisk.
So yes, and I maybe I just didn't emphasize that enough at the end. So the name that he has given us is Vem Miller. That's what he was booked under. But he had multiple passports and IDs with different names.
And then also you stated at their event there was 25,000 people, but later you said 50,000. Do you have a better count of how many?
We don't have a total yet. There are two different numbers, though, because of the amount of people that were actually made it inside the venue. And then the way it works is once the former president takes the stage, nothing else moves. So if you weren't in by then, you did not get in. And we do know that there were plenty of pre-screenings that had happened at parking lots before, and we know that there were multiple thousands of people that did not get in based on timing. So we have an idea of how many people were inside and outside, and we don't have an exact number. But that's the reason why I would have said two different things.
You talked about this group of
Sovereign citizens. It's a I
Bunch of
don't
quacky
know
people.
any in a law enforcement world. That's what we call them. That's what they call themselves, sovereign citizens, and it's just a political belief, if you will, that that government rules and laws and everything else that goes along with it doesn't apply to them.
So this is an organized group,
Spoiled brats.
and this group, they have a lot of members here in Riverside County.
I won't say they have a lot. Law enforcement across the country, we train on how to deal with them just because of the verbiage that they use when they interact with us. They believe that they're not necessarily toward us violent or confrontational, but it's obvious they don't ever want to answer our questions. They don't believe they need driver's licenses. They don't believe this, and this vehicle goes along with it. They don't register their vehicles. This was an unregistered car that we had to go through VIN number and manufacture process to verify that it was a legitimate car. It actually did belong to him. It's just, we know it was sold to him. It just was not ever registered.
Have they shown a propensity for violence?
Sometimes they do, but I can't say as an organization as a whole, but obviously, like a lot of different groups, bad apples give a group a bad name. And there certainly are people that are, but I'm not going to say that group as a whole is a violent group.
I do understand what you said earlier about you don't know what this was or what it might have been, but when you see a vehicle with 2 guns, boxes of ammunition, different license plates and passwords, and somebody claims to be with this group that you've described as being right-wing, first thing that goes through your mind is what?
I need to thank that deputy for doing his job. That was the first thing that went through my mind. And it was like I probably said to somebody or around somebody that's been either printed or reprinted in social media that I truly do believe that we prevented another assassination attempt. And it was solely by our effort of keeping those type of people out.
It's also said that he had a high-capacity magazine that he used for the shotgun as a street sweeper or for the pistol.
It was for the handgun. The high-capacity magazine was for the handgun.
It's different names on the passports, and I think, did you also say driver's licenses?
Yes.
Were these like tiny variations of the name, or like, Frank Brown?
I won't get into specifics, but it was both of the question that you're asking.
Okay. Any details about another individual linked to a potential bomb threat at the event as well?
We know that there were, not linked to an individual or specifics that I can give you. We are aware of our dogs and federal dogs that hit on people or things that we ended up not letting in, but I don't have any specifics on anything like that. There was nothing that rose to this level. Anything else? Okay, thank you for coming.
This is so weird, man. I don't understand.
The sovereign citizen movement is originally based on Quakerism and peace. Nothing wrong with
Really?
that, but then they post up at our checkpoints with AK-47s and just stare
shit.
at us.
Wow.
They're fucking weird.
Thank you for the time, man. Appreciate that. So, and check this out. So I see people online saying that the guy admitted he wanted to kill Trump, but I haven't been able to confirm that anywhere. That the guy said that. There's this post from an hour ago. The man they arrested, supposedly trying to kill Trump in Coachella, is my good friend. What? And business partner for America Happens. Okay, so that's that whole podcast thing. Vem Miller. Vem had just exposed a huge deep state cover-up involving the feds and the Bundy Ranch scandal. So I firmly believe this is 100% some kind of setup in retribution for exposing it. That or Trump's security team is a bunch of dipshits for trying to make up how badly they failed in Pennsylvania. What the hell? With any kind of win they can get, fake or not. There isn't a universe his intention was to kill Trump. He's worked too hard in this movement to expose the deep state and all the people against him. If he had guns in his car that were illegal, whoop the effing do. As a pro 2A advocate, ask me if I give a shit about a good guy with a gun in an unsafe shithole like California. So she's snapping on everybody. It doesn't even make sense why his passes would be fake either, when they're both usually invited as media to these things. And I'd love to see exactly what this threat was he made about Trump. That's what I want to know too. People keep saying it, but I haven't seen it myself yet. Because I don't believe he said it. I just know it's going to be some misconstrued BS thing when I finally hear, assuming they ever tell us. This is the anti-deep state documentary we did that they're probably targeting him for, where we actually suspected they killed our whistleblower over it. It's that damning to this illegitimate government. We're also working on a sequel to my Las Vegas shooting cover-up doc as well, which might be another reason why someone would target him for this. Either way, I stand with Van Miller, and I will get to the bottom of this bullshit. Watch me. Quote unquote, want to kill President Van Miller. Okay, so she's quoting somebody. So she thinks he's being targeted because of their documentary with the deep state. Bundy versus deep state.
They're called bionic boomers.
Let me get this. I don't know. Man. And what do they mean illegal guns? Like no serial numbers on there or something scratched off, or
In history. An assassination attempt was made on President Donald Trump, which has in itself the U.S. government
driven him out of business.
Danger to the community. All 19 people charged in connection with that standoff remain.
Amazon hates this, but there's nothing they can.
I don't know, man. He does legit seem, just from the bits that I've seen online, he does seem like he is right. I don't. Doesn't look like he was faking. I mean, at least the post that I saw. But I mean, I don't know. That's any kind of common sense showing up to something like that, not having or they claim he had fake credentials, but you see all the pictures he's taken with some of these people. I mean, I'm sure you could just go to these places and ask for a picture, you pay something, but he has a lot of pictures with some of these people on the right, some political people, political figures. Oh, enemy. So now people are, I guess does a lot of, like, he's on Rumble a lot.
Do this before bed to stop receding gums and decaying.
Everybody's posting their videos with this guy.
Seriously, I've been to 6 countries as a Marine. How the hell do you get multiple passports legally?
Damn, yeah.
Sorbo here with an important message. The Biden administration.
So tonight's going to be a big night, but George has got a little set the mood stuff he wants to do first. He's back in the saddle. Of course, maybe Mindy Robinson had something to do with that. He ran smack dab into the face. You have been attacked.
That's Mindy, the girl that just posted the tweet. And Van Miller.
And banned just as much as probably anybody. I know we went under, I don't know if you got suspended at X. I took my hit 1 minute and 46 seconds after Donald Trump. Even now, they've given me my accounts back. And I think combined on the 2 accounts, I've got 420 or 30,000 followers. Something. But they act as if I have a couple of thousand followers. It's no surprise, but how did you, this is something I don't know, because when you look at your history of doing as an actress, I don't know, when did you make this conversion that you just got, obviously had an epiphany moment? When did that happen?
I
Believe it or not, I went to school for this crap. I actually majored in American history and political science, or as I like to call it, a degree in lies, both of them. And it was when
Yeah.
well, I was a blue check for acting because I don't think they would have ever given it to me for my politics whatsoever. Yeah. But I was already an actress. I was on TV every week pretty much for a while there. So I got the blue check. And that
a lot of people talk about Barack Obama being, this big evil man. I kind of take it back to George W. Bush, because being in the industry in Hollywood and realizing the censorship that was happening during those years, I mean, it became very apparent that Patriot Act and all that stuff was really about suppression of our rights. And that's when, this idea of doing a network that went against the paradigm kind of kicked in. At the time, forgive me, but I just did not know better, because my world in Hollywood was a liberal world. I remember in 2015 when I said, I'll never vote for Hillary. And I started thinking about Bernie Sanders, believe it or not. And since then, again, forgive me, because I did not understand the implications of that. I just hated Hillary.
Thank you for talking about this. I don't know your political
I remember
stance,
walking
but
into
too
the
many
production
YouTubers
offices
are too
in
weak
Hollywood.
to talk about it.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for the 10. Appreciate that. Gracias. That's pretty wild, man. The world is sick. I really wonder if this was some type of misunderstanding, but I don't know. Why would you bring all that stuff to the rally, man?
And it's talking about Bernie Sanders, and they looked at me like they would look at you if you said Donald Trump. So I was like, wait a minute, there's something really weird about that. That like this guy's supposed to be a Democrat, and
he's gonna have to be banned from all the future rallies. Is this the same Van Miller that is buddies with Ivan Reichland? How close is he to Flynn? He's done a lot of like podcast stuff, it looks like, and they're on that America Happens thing all the time. Maybe he should do a video on it.
I'm saying I like him, but all these people are looking at me like I'm voting to vote for some evil person. And that was the eye-opening experience that really led me down the rabbit hole. Really, what did it for me was how they were frankenbiting all the Donald Trump footage, which became apparent in 2015. Frankenbiting is the technique that they use to create false reality in reality shows. It's Frankensteining footage, basically.
Yeah.
So knowing the raw footage and knowing the lies that they're doing, and knowing how like they were all down with the lies, living in this fictitious world, I was like, I can't. That's not part of a program that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So they're saying, somebody made a comment. So he was sitting in his car! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Rich said, unregistered car with a phony license plate. They did say that, yeah. And then somebody said, okay, most of my cars are unregistered.
It's, some of my early moments with understanding corruption from a government level was when I was a government contractor. And I worked for Wackenhut, G4S, Sabre, Halliburton, Blackwater. Spent a lot of times overseas, was in 41 countries during that time. And there was a lot of things I saw. They make you sign a 16-page document in most cases that you can't disclose any of the things you're doing. And I worked with different governments. I used to train at CQB and to think about people in a different way. But for some reason, I've always had a soft spot for animals.
Weird, man.
He fires at the barrel and then, of course, causes the individual to flee, who subsequently stopped. So you have those two individuals. One, you have an absolute shot at Vice President or former President Trump. And the elements of the crime, for example, doing a little research, the U.S. code that covers assassinations, kidnappings, assaults, and then, of course, attempt assassination of the president, vice president, designees is in the U.S. code. And it's 1751, and then, of course, some subsets. In that, it also describes what are the elements of a crime. So every investigator, special agent, whatever have you, when they are investigating a crime, have to prove those elements of the crime. And once you have those elements of the crime, then you can go ahead and proceed with a charge. It is also noted in that code that
he showed
the
up
person shooting, or in the last two cases, a shooting, an attempt shooting, that they do not have to know that they are causing injury, wanting to cause injury to the president. In other words, as I said back in July, the shooting by then Crooks, that the shooting of itself, the fact that he hit the president, whether he was intending to or not, is an attempt assassination of a former president. It would satisfied the elements of that crime. And then the second one being that he didn't get any shots off, but that everything seemed to fit. Well, what else was he doing? He definitely wasn't hunting. He shouldn't have had a gun. And the barrel was laid pointing towards the direction of where the former president was going to be within minutes. It is, and so upon his arrest, he was arrested for firearm violations, an obliterated serial number on a weapon, and that was a placeholder to hold him in custody, not to let him be able to make any type of a bail during a detention hearing, and then subsequently, in order to prove the elements of the crime of an attempt assassination, that he was subsequently charged, right? So the elements were satisfied both in the first and the second. And then, of course, the FBI was able to look at his readings through his digital media, through whatever devices he had, and he had quite a few, that they were able to come up with, even though he did not state anything.
All right. It's pretty crazy, man. So, I don't know. I mean, it's dangerous times. People are crazy. And, you know, especially with the political stuff. And I'm on both sides. But the last two seems like they were people that were... Well, the last guy, he was right. And then I guess he changed or flipped. And he got really upset with Trump, like disgruntled and stuff. This guy... I don't see any kind of shift. Well, he did say a long time ago he was like Democrat and then he shifted. But all his stuff, his posts, his videos, it's all, you know, like right-leaning stuff. And he goes to all these events and does all these podcasts, puts in a lot of time, it seems like. Just really, I don't know. Look, he's even with what's this, John O'Keefe? Even with John O'Keefe. I just saw a picture. Where? I think that's John O'Keefe. They both look tired as hell because this is following a 3-hour hike. This man is a hero and someone who I deeply admire. So I don't know what's going on with this guy, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. I don't know what's going on. Weird, yo. Weird. Oh, yeah. Ultra fine, but well, I'll let the robot read it. Operation Mockingbird. I've heard a little bit about that. There's this guy I watch on YouTube that's talked about it a couple times. An ongoing program of the CIA and FBI to infiltrate news media to seize control of the narrative. The deep state owns your ass. That was public affairs. Trump is correct. Yeah, I should probably... There's like books on it too. Operation Mockingbird. Well... Yeah, Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate domestic American news media organizations for propaganda purposes. All right. I think dude is really... Oh. Interesting. All right, I guess I'm going to jump off from now. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I was doing a bunch of stuff in the house, kind of, that I have little projects that I want to finish up on. The tank and the garden. It's weird, though. Oh, Joe Rogan did a podcast on the Mockingbird? Oh, they say Trump might go on Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't know. That'd be really interesting to see if that ever happens. Because I thought Joe used to say he wouldn't do it. And that Trump's been asking, but now I think he might do it. There's a lot of talks about that. Let's see here. Starship flight success. This was really cool. I saw this morning. I was watching this. Wow. It doesn't even look real. Damn. Thank you. I heard about that hoax. I forgot where I was watching it. It's looking promising for him. I do watch Officer Tatum. I like him. I watch it. I'm subscribed. I watch him sometimes. Okay. Oh, yeah, we got the shrimp food now. But all right, I'll hit you guys up, man. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. We'll see what this week brings. No school tomorrow, at least here for the kids. No school tomorrow. I'm happy about that. So is my daughter. We'll see what this week brings. What kind of craziness, insanity, you know. Timcast. Oh. So let's take it before we get out of here. So Tim Pool is saying this was not seems like this was not an assassination attempt. Still need more details. Concerning what happened with Ralph, it's important to consider the possibilities while remaining skeptical. Let's take a look at this article that he posted, and then we'll get off after that. And thank you to, hold on a second, thank you to the person that tagged me. Let me see. Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Okay. Man with guns arrested near the Trump rally. Riverside Sheriff says they stopped an assassination attempt. Suspect denies the accusation. So what's true, what's not? So this guy was arrested with guns and fake IDs about a half a mile from Trump's rally campaign. Riverside County Sheriff Chad said on Sunday, but while the sheriff called the arrest a thwarted assassination attempt, the man told the reporter that he is a Trump supporter who bought the guns for his own safety and notified police at the checkpoint that they were in his the trunk of his car. Oh, that's weird. So he left the guns in his trunk, he's saying, but he let them know at the checkpoint that, hey, I got guns in my trunk, I guess. Deputies assigned to Trump's rally said the driver, Van Miller, rolled up in a black SUV to a checkpoint at the intersection of Avenue 52 and Celebration Drive around 5 p.m. On Saturday, he was found to be in illegal possession of a shotgun, loaded handgun, and a high-capacity magazine, Bianco said. He added that Miller's car had a fake license plate and was unregistered, which is kind of typical of those sour citizen people sometimes. I noticed they don't register their car. Bianco told the Southern California News Group on Sunday that he believes Miller, who he said is a member of a right-leaning anti-government group, planned to kill Trump, and that deputies thwarted the plan when Miller presented a fake VIP pass at the checkpoint. He said they also found he had multiple phony IDs. That's weird, man. That's weird. I mean, maybe he wasn't there to kill. I don't know. They were different enough to cause deputies alarm. We probably stopped another assassination attempt. Miller, in an interview with Southern California News Group on Sunday, said he was shocked that he was arrested and accused of trying to harm Trump, who he supports. These accusations are complete BS. Miller said, I'm an artist. I'm the last person that would cause any violence and harm to anybody. A Trump caucus captain, Miller, said he received a special invitation to the Coachella Valley rally from the head of Clark County's Republican Party, donning a Trump shirt and hat. The 49-year-old said he reached the checkpoint prior to entering the event parking lot and told a deputy he was lawfully carrying firearms in his trunk as a courtesy. Okay. So he reaches the checkpoint prior to entering the event parking lot and told a deputy he has guns lawfully. He was asked to pull over and step out of the vehicle before he was handcuffed and had his vehicle ransacked after a deputy said he wanted to retrieve the gun's serial numbers to confirm they were lawfully purchased. That's what I was saying earlier. Maybe the serial numbers were scratched off or something. No, not scratched, but Miller said he bought the firearms in 2022 for protection after he started receiving death threats. He had never fired them and said he was unfamiliar with the difference between Nevada and California's gun laws. He also denied presenting a press pass at the checkpoint and said he only had a special entry pass. Miller said he was never told why he was being apprehended. Roughly 8 hours after being detained, he said he was finally given the opportunity to call a lawyer. Damn! Ooh, really? and recounted his experience on the phone in front of an FBI agent and member of the Secret Service who were there to interview him. He was later told by deputies that interview had been called off. Miller is a registered Republican who holds a master's degree from UCLA and who ran for State Assembly Nevada 2022. He lost in the primary. He told Las Vegas Review-Journal at the time that he was running, "This country has been taken over by tyranny." He said he supported more electric car manufacturing in Nevada and solar energy, but also wants to focus on election security issues if he had been elected to office, including strengthening voter ID laws and implementing paper ballots again. Miller also runs the America Happens Network, whose motto is "Rage Against the Mainstream Media." And we already read the LinkedIn. Bianco said Miller appeared to be part of or have an affinity for so-called sovereign citizens, a group of people who do not believe they are
I own multiple guns, and am friends with the police and rangers, as you can see on my YouTube channel. But I don't keep multiple passports nor drive around a wagon full of guns.
I
This
know.
smells so weird.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for the 10, man. Wow. In his interview with the reporter, Miller flatly denied that. Mindy Robinson, which we just read her, described herself as Miller's partner and posted on X and Instagram on Sunday, and Facebook apparently, that the charges don't make any sense. There isn't a universe.
Ben Miller has pictures on Instagram interviewing the shaman on January 6th.
Oh, really? Really? I'll have to look that up. So, yes, this lady, Mindy Robinson, we just saw her post. She thinks it's all BS. It's a setup. He was working on exposing the deep state. She described him as a good guy and said it made sense to go armed in an unsafe California. Miller's arrest was retaliation for America Happens recent coverage of an alleged government cover-up regarding a 2014 Bundy Ranch standoff in Nevada. I firmly believe this is 100% a setup. Okay. On Saturday, sheriff's deputy set up what Bianco called a double perimeter that controlled access within a mile of the rally. Residents were allowed through, but they were watched to make sure they drove to their neighborhoods and not towards the rally. Miller was apprehended at one of those checkpoints. Damn. At an afternoon news conference, Bianco said he didn't care what Miller told a reporter and that detaining and arresting him simply made for common sense. So, to me, though, it's weird, too, that he got out on a $5,000 bail, and they're not going to see him till January 2nd. Doesn't seem like a high priority. The Secret Service put out a brief statement saying it was aware of the arrest. The incident did not impact protective operations. The Secret Service extends its gratitude to the deputies and local partners who assisted in safeguarding last night's events, the agency said. Okay, and we know about this other shooting. Crazy. Let me just look at his Instagram real quick. Ben Miller. And I did. Oh, I did see he had a picture with the shaman guy. Damn, he even met these guys? The twins. Marauding with Ivan. So he's connected. Or I don't know. Maybe he's just going to these people's events and taking pictures and stuff. Those guys are funny. Yeah, something's not right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what turns up. I wonder if he's going to speak out at any point or do a podcast and address the nation. I don't know. Or maybe he won't say nothing. All right, guys. I'm going to get off, man. Have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And we'll see what today or tomorrow this week brings. All right. Peace. Bye. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Jerry, thank you for the super chat earlier. Sovereign sitting cloud chaser, not really assassin. Probably, yeah. Ultra fine point. Thank you so much for the super chats as well. Legendary, thank you for the 15 months. Yo, crazy peeps trying to wreck Trump up again. Chrissy, thank you for